In the last part of this database, I'm going to create a menu form to make it a little bit more intuitive for the user to deal with the objects that they need to, as a user, deal with in this database. This time I'm going to go to create, and rather than use a wizard, I'm going to create a blank form. And then I'm going to go in Office 2010, you may already have some buttons here, but for some reason in 2016 they made it a little harder on me. I'm going to click on design, and the first thing I'm going to do is click on this label icon, the big A and the little a. I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to click out on the screen, and I'm just going to click a little, add a little heading called payroll menu, and then I'm just going to click away. The next design feature I'm going to add is a command button, or button, which is the rectangle with the X's. So I'm going to click it once, and then I'm going to click on the screen, and we're going to add three different buttons. One to open the employee data entry form, one for the hours entry form, and then we're going to add a button to run to open the payroll report. So I'm going to go to Form Operations and Open Form. Click Next in the wizard. Select the Employee Data Entry form. Select the default. And when I get to this screen, I want to add some text that's different than just plain open form. So the user wants to know what they're going to be doing when they click the button. So I'm going to type enter employee data as the text on the button, and then I'm going to click finish. Eventually I'm going to resize these and make it look a little bit better, but I'm going to add my other two buttons. Oops. I'm going to go back to design, and I'm going to enter another command button. Go back to form operations, open form. And now I'm going to click the hours entry form. Open to show all records, and I'm going to change the text to read enter employee hours and finish. Again, I'm going to make that wider in a minute, but for now I'm just going to leave it even though it's truncated. I'll go back to design, and I'm going to add my third button. And this time, instead of form, I'm going to click on report operations, and I'm going to open the report that we created. We only have one, the payroll report, and I'll add text for it, and I'll just call it show payroll report and finish. Now I'm going to do a little bit of resizing here. I'm going to click on one of the buttons and make it wider. I'll click on this label here and then go to Home and Center again to center it on the page. And I have it's not going to win any design awards, but I have a decent looking menu. So I'm going to close this form now and save it. And instead of form 1, I'm going to call it payroll menu. And I'll double click on the payroll menu. And the last thing I want to do is test it. So I click on the first button, and it brings me to my employees. I can modify data here if I wanted. I'll go back to Michael. Actually, I'll leave that as is. But I'll go to the hours, and I'll make those more round numbers so I don't get those crazy decimals. And I'll run the report and close out. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my database options. So I'm going to go to File Options, and under the Current Database tab, there's a option for Display Form Upon Entry, and I'm going to click Payroll Menu and then click OK. And it says must close and reopen the database for the specific option to take effect. And I'll do that. I'm going to close out of Access. Notice that I don't have to save. I've already saved each individual option in the database, so I can just close out of here. I can go to Access and reopen it, and I have my list of files here, including the one I just worked on. And now when I open the file, by default I get my payroll menu, and I can open everything and run it and make sure everything is working.